The Ain al-Assad Air Base, a symbol of the US presence in Iraq. Approximately 1,500 coalition troops are currently stationed here, primarily to train and assist Iraq's security forces in the fight against the Islamic State group.
We're helping them by providing them capability with close air support, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance to help them see the picture. So it's been an effective partnership because of what we provide, but also because of what they're willing to receive.
Recent events have raised questions about the future role of these soldiers. A string of attacks against the US's Iraqi facilities and subsequent US strikes against pro-Iranian paramilitaries led in January to the killing of Iranian General Qassem Soleimani by an American drone. In retaliation, Iran launched missiles at Ain al-Assad, remembered vividly by First Sergeant Jackson.
So early morning at about 01:30 on the 8th of January, I saw what I thought was a meteor, a shooting star coming through the sky. And once it got about right over this direction, it separated. And when it separated, it looked like a bottle rocket during fireworks, the 4th of July, and then it struck. And when it struck, it blew up, and it created a mass amount of energy so fast that it blew everything around it up.
There were no fatalities, but more than 110 soldiers suffered mild traumatic brain injuries from the 11 missiles that hit.
And I've been in Iraq and Afghanistan countless times, and I've personally experienced IEDs, and not just one, but multiple ones. And I would tell you that that was the biggest impact I've ever seen that wasn't controlled by us.
At the height of the US-Iranian tensions in January, joint counter-terror operations were suspended while the Iraqi parliament passed a non-binding resolution asking US forces to leave. Here, picking through the remaining shrapnel in a crater created by the strike, Lieutenant Colonel Garland said the tensions have eased and he was upbeat about the partnership against IS, also referred to as Daesh.
We're back to active planning and operating against the D-Dash mission. So understanding that things have pretty much fundamentally changed here in this operating environment. It's not what it used to be. There's still, I would say, a lot that makes us feel like we're back to where we were, at least in terms of our relationship with the Iraqi security forces.
Despite Garland's qualified optimism, there is reportedly limited collaboration and discussion of a partial US withdrawal. So how might the Iraqi forces fare on their own? We arrived in Hewson to meet with the Iraqi Federal Police on an inspection of a recent counter-terror operation. Trekking across open ground with foreign journalists and senior commanders in attendance, over 200 men were deployed to ensure security and to clear the area. With 4,000 to 5,000 IS fighters still at large in Iraq's rural north and west, they maintain a threatening presence and conduct regular attacks in the region. Brigadier Fakhr says local militants choose base locations close to rivers and amid dense bushes for cover.
It's easy to hide here because the bushes are taller than men. And sometimes they'll make big tangled piles of trees and branches to better camouflage their positions.
The brigadier says that this position was cleared in a recent joint operation. He says the militants were flushed out by a US airstrike with ground support from the Iraqis.
Here you can see what's been left behind. Various bottles and jerry cans, clothes. Sometimes they'll use this type of position to build so-called improvised explosive devices. Here we've also found explosive material that was ready to be detonated.
The brigadier says insurgents previously used tunnels to take cover. This smartphone footage shows the federal police blowing up an abandoned tunnel system further downstream that they claim was once used by IS commanders. So with the presentation of local forces in firm control, we asked the commander, does he still need US help?
This decision is for the higher central leadership to take. It's their decision. But if they leave, will it affect us? No. We will be in control. We have our drones, we have our Iraqi Air Force, we also have our heavy and medium artillery, and our stocks of weapons. We don't need outside help.
But the brigadier's confidence is not shared by everyone. Back in Baghdad, security analyst Hisham al-Hashimi had a different take.
The coalition forces' roles and services are indispensable for Iraq. Iraq doesn't need the coalition's ground forces in their operations. It needs their roles in training, investment, spying, surveillance and technology. They can't afford to lose it, even just for 1 year.
According to Hisham al-Hashimi, IS attacks doubled between 2018 and 2019, and this is not a time for the coalition to pull back.
The Islamic State group is lurking and waiting for American and coalition forces to leave Iraq, and then we'll hear of many major cities falling under Islamic State's control.
With less cooperation, Hisham al-Hashimi says the latest anti-terror operation, Heroes Victory, is achieving poor results, leaving concerns of an IS resurgence.